We are going to hear now from our past and our present executive directors. And it's been 2 years of transition. And we have shared in our newsletters and communications with you some of the things that have happened. But some of you might still be wondering, didn't we just have a new executive director and now we have another new one? And the answer is yes, and there are good reasons for it. And we are grateful that God has been in the midst of it. And so, Alyssa and Becky, come on up and do your part in sharing your stories.
Thanks, Mike. Can you guys hear me now? Well, good evening. I'm thrilled to see you here tonight as we come together for this uplifting event devoted to faith, connection, and empowerment. It's hard to believe that a little over a year ago I came to Bridge of Hope BuxMont for an amazing opportunity that I honestly didn't know I was looking for. God led me to shift from a rewarding leadership role in adoption and foster care across Pennsylvania back to Bucks and Montgomery counties to a new role serving families in a local ministry with a beautiful model that has a lasting impact in my community. It was a move to focus on human dignity and potential by providing shelter and intensive support to restore hope to families experiencing crisis and unimaginable trauma. I was immediately drawn to the mission and struck by the dynamic and dedicated board members and the remarkable outgoing director, Jennifer Yothers, who led the growing ministry with grace over the past decade. The small but mighty staff receive me with open minds and hearts. They are truly the most talented and caring folks that you could ask for on a team, and doing work that's relentlessly demanding. I have witnessed our extraordinary staff walk alongside families in the toughest times and rejoicing in the big and small wins. As I look back on my time at Bridge of Hope BuxMont, I'm struck by the profound and heavy privilege and joy of the work. Serving communities in our program has provided me with a front row seat to some of the rawest and most resilient moments in life. I've learned to embrace the dance of leading a small nonprofit by balancing urgency and strategy with the motivation of recognizing the strength of families who often feel invisible in our communities. A few moments that define my tenure at Bridge of Hope BuxMont include experiencing graduations of 4 moms, welcoming 6 new moms to the program, all who have secured stable housing, celebrating the birth of 3 babies born to our staff members, witnessing a powerful message at our fall concert, working with the board to hire, was I not giving you guys full in the back that you could hear me now? Being able to work with the board to hire another full-time case manager to allow us to serve more families, experiencing the visible impact of our generous donors, and connecting with the growing church and community partners that support our mission, serving local families. It was a challenging decision to make to transition from my role at Bridge of Hope, as I've grown to love it, but personal health reasons changed my family's needs and immediate focus. I've greatly valued the support that I've received and the opportunities that I've had over the past year. I'm so proud of what we've achieved. As I pass the torch, can I grab a tissue? See, this is why we need them here. As I pass the torch, I'm grateful for the flexibility of our staff, the trust of our board, the generosity of our donors, and the courage of every mother who's walked through our doors. While the need for affordable housing remains a steep challenge, I leave my role knowing that the ministry that has carried on for over 25 years' legacy will carry on the future with a firm foundation of serving families in need of a second chance. I've had the pleasure of job sharing with Becky over the past few months, and I have absolute confidence in her and the team to lead the exciting next chapter with purpose for a mission that's so vital to the community. With all her wisdom, experience, and compassion, I look forward to seeing the organization and families thrive. It's been an honor to serve you all, and thank you for letting me be a part of the story, and sorry for the tearful speech.
And before Becky shares, I draw your attention here to the center right of the room. Our board chair, Joe Wombo, has some special news for you.
All right, so Alyssa, we will miss you. But the good news is Alyssa is joining the board come June. So we will still have her wisdom and compassion walking with us. And we're just so happy for that.
Good evening. I hope this is working. Can everybody hear me? Thank you. And it's a shame we don't get along, totally. I grew up in a nonprofit. My dad was a founder and executive director for over 30 years. He built his organization for young people who didn't always fit the mold, who needed a place to belong, to be seen, and to build something meaningful together. And I didn't just grow up around it, I grew up in it. By the time I was 13, I was helping fundraise. At 14, my dad drew a thermometer on a piece of paper, 25,000 at the top, and said, if we don't hit this in 60 days, we close. That's how I learned fundraising. And we made it every time. At 16, I wrote my first appeal letter to local business owners I had never met. People told me it wouldn't work, but I sent it anyway with a prayer and raised $500, and I was hooked. That was the beginning for me. And that path continued into my professional work. While I was at Family Services, working at Meals on Wheels, I had only been in the role for about 2 months when I applied for a national grant opportunity through Meals on Wheels America. I became one of 15 people across the country selected as a grant recipient, a nationally recognized award. So while I am a grant writer, I'm also a grant winner. And throughout my career, I've consistently secured funding for organizations, even in situations where the odds were uncertain, or others assumed it wouldn't come through. My dad's motto was each one, reach one. Look out for one another and show up for one another. And because of him, I've built a community that means everything to me. My husband Adam is here tonight. He created the video you saw. And my dear friend Mike is here as well. They are part of my life because of the kind of community my dad believed in. That belief is what brings me here tonight. I also want to share a connection that made this role feel even more meaningful to me. I had the privilege of working with Kathleen years ago at Family Services. I was the director of Meals on Wheels in Pottstown. And Kathleen, who was one of our wonderful case managers, she was leading the emergency rent and utilities program in Eagleville. We met through monthly directors meetings, and I always respected her work and her heart. So when I walked into my third interview here and saw Kathleen, it felt like coming full circle. And I'll say this was one of the more thorough interview processes I've ever been through. Joan. But I appreciated it because it told me this board takes this work seriously. And Joan said to me walking out of one of those interviews, lives are depending on this. And that stayed with me. This work is deeply personal and it's deeply important. To the families we serve, especially the moms walking through incredibly difficult seasons, we see you. You deserve stability. You deserve support. And you deserve people who will walk beside you through hard chapters, not just the easy ones. Because the reality is, what families are facing right now is overwhelming. We've shared some of what we're calling our impact numbers tonight. Based on the data from the Economic Policy Institute, it takes about $95,000 a year for a single parent and one child in Bucks County, and nearly $99,000 in Montgomery County just to meet basic needs, not to thrive, just to survive. And many of the families we serve are earning half of that. So when we talk about housing instability or financial hardship, we're not talking about poor choices. We're talking about a system that simply doesn't add up. And in those moments, it can feel like there's no way forward. There's a story I've always carried with me. It's about a painting called Checkmate. It shows a chessboard where the king appears to be trapped and completely out of moves. The game looks over. But a chess master studied the painting and said, the king has one more move, and that idea has always stayed with me. Because it's easy to show up when things are going well. But real impact and real community happens when things look impossible, and we choose to show up anyway. When we choose to be that one more move. When we choose to be the small light in the moment that feels very dark. That's what Bridge of Hope does. And that's what each of you has the opportunity to be part of tonight. Thank you for being here. Thank you for caring. And thank you for choosing to stand with families when it matters most. God bless you.